Hello YouTube. I hope you're having a fabulous Thursday. Today is Thursday, June 29th. I always say I wasn't going to do a video, but I wanted to do it because it was on my mind. And there's a saying that's called, and this is not throwing subs or anything like that to any YouTuber, because we're all young black women trying to make it, but I just had to say this because it just kind of triggered me, because I know way too many people that's judgmental and they don't even follow their own advice. So I just wanted to call it out. But before I get into that, this is the book Little Lost Angel by Michael Quinlan. It's the true story of the teenage conspiracy to kill 12-year-old Shonda Scherer. So remember the other day I was talking about her and I was like, you know what? It's been a minute since I read a book. What was the last book I read? Oh yeah, No Disrespect. And I had that book for years and I decided to read it over. I was like, let me, I need a good book to read, so I decided to order it. And it was supposed to come tomorrow. Like, dear Amazon, why do y'all bring people stuff earlier than the time that y'all say? Like, what if I wasn't home? I would have missed out and then I would have had to reorder it, or I don't know. But it was supposed to come tomorrow, but it came today. Glad I was home. And I was like, people always, the guy heard me through the door. I was like, somebody always knocking on the door. And then he's like, it's Amazon. But yeah, so this is the Shonda book. I didn't start reading it, but I am. Summer reading. Get your read on. Get your read on. Children and adults. If you ain't got no money, or if you ain't trying to spend no money, museum. You can't go wrong with museums and libraries. I can't stress that enough. My son is a little old. He's 14. So he not really feeling the going out unless if his grandpa there, or if it's Mother's Day. He changed a lot. Like, he really, but it's whatever, because I did all the fun things with him when he was a kid. So when I see people and they don't do stuff with their kids, I'm like, yo, they grow up fast, and when they 12 and 13, they not gonna want to do it no more. So if you got a little one, cherish those years, like from 0 to 12. Oh my God, those are the best years. Once they turn 13, they not gonna want to fuck with you. Like, they really not. They gonna, my son is very sensitive, so it's like, when I didn't want to go out to the movies with him and his grandpa, because a lot of the movies that they watch is Marvel Comics and stuff, and I'm not a Marvel Comics fan. Like, one time I was with them and I went shopping because I just wasn't feeling the movie. Yesterday we went to see The Flash, and that was trash. Sorry, Flash was trash. But it's for kids. Like, I remember when he was little, I always took him to kid movies, always, because it's his childhood. But now that he's older, it's like, okay. But I digress. But what I wanted to talk about, one of the subscribers, I actually unsubscribed, and her name is Irene, and she gives good advice, but I just wanted to let people know, don't throw stones and you live in a glass house. I'm gonna repeat that again. Don't throw stones and your ass live in a glass house. And what do I mean by that? This girl Irene, I have stopped watching her story times because all of them, she was the side chick. Like, every story she was always the side chick, and I couldn't understand it. And when you listen to her, she really not the side chick. She puts the title there so you could watch it. So it's like a commercial tactic, I guess, so you could watch it, whatever. And some of her stories are good, and then some of them are redundant, but she's gonna always, I guess, get the views because people like stories like that, and I'm cool with that, whatever. But one thing she said that I wanted to talk about, she said she don't date guys who don't have a car, and I'm all for that. I would never sit here and tell a woman your standards is too high, because people have told me that, and I'm like, my standards are not too high. It's just your standards are low, so you feel like everybody should have low self-esteem like you. So no, I totally agree with her on, she's like, she don't date guys with kids. That's what I tell all my friends, like, don't do it. Because, and my friends told me in my 20s, I never dated a guy with no kids until my last recent relationship, if that's what you want to call it. To me, it was very juvenile and immature. Like, that wasn't, like, I feel like at my age, 34, if you are not talking marriage plans, if you're not talking engagement, what are you doing? Like, what are you, that's for the kids. You know, I'm 34, and to be honest with you, if you're not trying to make me your wife, what are we doing? We might as well be friends with benefits. I really believe that. I really be like, because I feel like at my age, at 34, it's embarrassing to say this is my boyfriend. I think that sounds so dumb. That's just my opinion. I feel like you should be able to say this is my husband, this is my fiance. And if you can't see a future with them, then you shouldn't be dating them, straight up and down. Like, I knew I couldn't see a future with him. And it serves me right, and I could take full responsibility, like, from when I met him to different things that was popping up, to the lies that was coming up. I knew that this man was not the one, and 1 year turned into 2, turned into 3 years. It never should have went that far. It never should have went that far, and I never should have allowed him in my space that much when I knew that that was not my dream guy. And so now I'm at a point when I'm like, you know what? It's okay to be alone. It's okay to be single, because to waste your time with someone and you're not feeling them like that, they're going to resent you, and they're going to purposefully do stupid shit. Like what I mentioned in my previous video, like, men are smart, and when you are not feeling them, they're going to purposefully do things that's stupid. Subconsciously. That's just the way it is. So she was saying she don't date guys with a car, but she has a car, so I'm okay with that, you know. I know a former friend of mine, he was like, I had did a video about girls that's for the streets. Like, he took a girl on a date one time, and he's smart. He was like, he never took her out again because she was just talking stupid. She was like, oh, and her true colors came out. He showed me the messages, and she was like, oh, you're not even that cute, I was just bored, like, you know. But she's the one that came up to him. She's the one that went to his cousin and was like, oh, I want to talk to him. And so he took her out to a nice restaurant, Thai restaurant. I said, stop taking bitches to nice places. Take their ass to fucking, I would say the diner, but that's expensive. But take their ass to Starbucks. It's the first date. And if it's nice outside, just be like, you know, it's a nice day, how about going to the park? It doesn't make you cheap. It's just, why waste your money on a bitch like that? Like, I would not want my son to be like, yeah, ma, I took this girl out on a date and she was trash. It's like, time is wasted, money is wasted. Like, and I can't stress enough to talk to the person. Try to have conversations before the first date. Because believe it or not, people tell on themselves a lot before they even, that's just like with online dating. I tried it one time. I think I told you how I met a guy off Facebook, and he turned out to, he went to jail for child porn, but he was a CEO. He was a Harvard alumni. It's all on the internet. He took me to the alumni spot. Like, this dude had it going on, but he had demons that I just wasn't with it. Like, you know, but you know, the part that I failed and the mistake I made, I didn't have a conversation. Like, we had a conversation, but we only had one conversation before we met up. Don't do that. Try to have at least, I would say, at least 3 to 4 conversations before you meet them, because I feel like, and if they don't want to talk, that's a sign that they don't want you to know stuff. And there's nothing wrong with asking, like, hey, is there a reason you don't want to talk on the phone? If they say they're not a phone person, that could be a red flag, ladies. But I wanted to talk about how, this story time that was sent to Irene, because Irene, she's starting to read other people's stories, and I feel like the stuff she be saying is like kind of harsh, because these girls are looking to you for advice. So for you to read their stories and be like, oh, laughing and oh, you shouldn't have done that and this and that. Mind you, this girl said she's never been on a date. Yes, you heard right. This girl is 25 years old, and she said last year she never been on a date. So your ass never been on a date, and you're giving advice to people that's going out on dates. But yes, so I feel like for her to be giving advice like that is kind of weird. And I'm not saying that, because she admitted that she's like dealt with bums and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, you dealt with bums, but you're 25 and you've never been on a date. So what makes you qualified to try to like laugh at somebody because they made a mistake? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, and I brought her up to say this: anytime that you have a person, I don't care if it's your family member, co-worker, cousin, whatever, if you see that they're very judgmental, ask them about their life. Because my experience, and I'm only 34 years old, and I say only 34 because I know I have a lot to learn. I've learned a lot, but you never stop experiencing life. Life is the best teacher, hands down. Like my last situation, I started not to deal with him because he had kids. That's another thing she said that I do agree with. She's like, she don't date guys with kids, and if she do, she not taking them serious. But that's the mistake I made of not taking him serious. If you're not gonna take a person serious, they shouldn't even be in your space at all. For real. Because what's gonna end up happening is y'all gonna spend more and more time together because of boredom, and then it's like when they play you, you're not gonna really hurt as much, but it's still hurtful. You still look stupid. So I would say no. Like, we all say that as women, like, okay, we're not taking them serious. I never took him serious because certain things, like the lies kept coming up. I knew he was someone I didn't want to marry just off of his beliefs and just certain things about him. I just knew he wasn't my dream guy, right? So, and also I think I told y'all his age. Like, I'm telling y'all bits and pieces. Like, one day I'm going to tell the whole story, but not right now. But yeah, so he was much older than I. He actually lied about his age, and it's like a huge age difference between us. Like, I'm not ready to tell y'all. But after that, I knew, like, no, I don't want to marry somebody that's that much older than me, because I'm going to be a widow by this age, and then, no. And then if I damn sure didn't want no kid by him, because he going to be dead before the child graduates high school. So I didn't want that for myself, you know. So, and then that's another thing, because I took a shower right before I started this video. So what I was thinking in the shower is, men always, the main reason why it's not good to date men with kids, because most men, not saying all, I'm sure you got men out there that's not messing with their child's mom, or that's loyal and they good men. I'm pretty sure they out there, but I haven't seen them. Like, straight up, I haven't seen them. My friends haven't seen them. Men with multiple baby mothers, and he only had one, a possible two, but he had one that he was taking care of. If the man is telling you certain things about what he did to his ex and how he treated her bad and stuff, he's gonna do the same thing to you. He is. Whatever he did to her, he's gonna do to you tenfold. It may not be as bad, but you have to understand the mentality of these men. If you meet a man and he has 2 or 3 baby mamas, first of all, if a man, I'm 34, so if I meet a man, let's say if I meet a man, he's 35, and he has, it's possible maybe he has 2 baby mothers. Okay, one of them you need to have been loyal to. It can't be like, oh yeah, wham bam, thank you ma'am, the first pregnancy. Okay, yeah, that it happened to me. I'm very open about that, and I'm very proud because though I was young, I knew that my son's father was something that I didn't want. So I wasn't gonna be like other people and force a relationship with somebody who I know I didn't like. Like, I knew I didn't like him. So I'm like, no, I made the mistake of sleeping with him. I made a baby, but I'm gonna raise this baby in a peaceful home. I'm not gonna raise a child and be with somebody who I know we have nothing in common beside our child. And a lot of people make that mistake, get married and they don't have shit in common, and then when he cheat on you, it's, oh, I don't know why he cheated on me. Like, you wasn't feeling him from the gate, and men know that shit. So, you know, if a dude that's my age, 34, 35, and he's like, yeah, the first one was wham bam, thank you man, we wasn't together, but shit happens, cool, because that's how my son got here. Now, if your baby mama too was the same thing, like, oh yeah, it wasn't nothing, but shit happens, no, you should have protected yourself. You should have used condoms if you knew, you know, that's my whole thing. And then you got guys that's my age with 3 and 4 baby mamas, and he didn't marry none of them. So that means that you just out here slinging dick, and that's not acceptable. Like, that's not good, because it shows that you use women and play women. I know a friend right now, the one I told y'all, you know, I said mental health thing, whatever. She said how he had 4 baby mamas, and he only married one of them, and the rest of them was just sex. And he was telling her, oh, I want you to be my baby mama. I said, if he cared about you, and this is exactly what I said to her, I said, sis, if he cared about you, honestly, he would get a divorce, he would file them papers, he would sign on that dotted line, and he would marry you. Like, y'all are grown. Like, I'm 34, this bitch 46, her dude is the same age. Like, if he was really on his grown man shit and he was serious about you, he would not be saying, I want you to be my baby mama. He would say, you know what, I'm in a situation, I'm about to file for divorce, and we gonna get married. You what I want. But men are very verbal, and men know what they want. So the fact that he's telling her to her face, yo, you gonna be my baby mama, like, that's not acceptable. And you should, as a woman, should not accept that, because you should want more for yourself. I'm just saying, like, why would you want to be added? And I was just before I started recording this video, I was like, my pride and my confidence and my self-esteem, I could never be nobody's baby mama number 2. I'm sorry. Like, my son is my son's father, firstborn. He gets all the love in the world, and there's no way that I can't see myself being somebody's baby mama number 2. And if I am your baby mama number 2, I'm gonna be your wife. I'm not gonna be your baby mama. Sorry, I have way too much class and etiquette for myself to just be one of your baby mamas. It's not going down. And I feel like with me and my family dynamic, my parents were married before I was born. And one thing my mother said, and I always held on to, she said, Crystal, he chased me. He chased me. I didn't trap him with no baby. I didn't do none of that. I said, you go, mommy. And so many women can't say that about their mother. My mother was not pregnant with me when they got married. My mother was not pregnant with nobody when she got married to my dad. She was a virgin. And it's good to be like that, because, you know, a lot of women, they trap dudes, whether it be the sex or a baby. A lot of people can't say that they got the ring on an honest note. Let's keep it real. Like, a lot of people, some people have. Some people did get the ring on an honest note. Like my homeboy that's married from high school. She was not pregnant when he proposed. Like, he actually wanted to be with her. She didn't have to say shit about marriage. He's the one that put on his grown man drawers, got the ring, and proposed to her 1 year after dating. Now, he knew her for 10 years prior, but that's how grown men move, right? You don't have to be pregnant or have been pregnant and miscarried and oh yeah. So no, like my mother was a virgin when she got the ring and got married. She did not trap my father, none of that stupid shit. You know, not throwing shade at anybody's mama, but that's how you know if a guy really wants you. Like I would hope that I'm not pregnant when I get married. I hope I would get married first. So this is how you know he's marrying you for you, not because y'all got a kid together or whatever. No. Like even when I tell the stories to other people, they like, oh, that's how it was back then. You had to get married. No, my parents was married 5 years before I was born. 5. My mother was a virgin. My father chased my mother. That's how it's supposed to be. He came after her. She did not beg him to marry her. None of that. None of that. Now, do they have a perfect marriage? No. They have their issues. But I have a foundation of no baby mamas. My grandmothers were not baby mamas. My mother is not a baby mama. Unfortunately, I am because I let hormones, not even hormones, like I allowed somebody to override my decision. I let somebody override my decision, and it taught me don't lay with a man unless if you're dating him or want to date him. So I could truly say that every man that I've been with after my son, like after having my son, is no regret because I was either dating the dude or I wanted to date the dude, you know. So but yeah, I said all that to say this. And that same girl I'm talking about with her dude got 4 baby mamas, whatever, and whatever, she's judgmental. Like we have a mutual friend and she's like, oh, I don't understand why she got friends with benefits. I'd rather have a friends with benefits than to be with a guy who got 4 baby mamas and he's trying to make me his baby mama. Like, what? That's why I'm like, I have so many examples, but bottom line, what I'm trying to say is people who are judgmental and they have all the advice in the world to give, watch their lifestyle and ask them questions, you know. Because one thing about my mother is not no hypocrite. My mother is not, like my mother ain't never said, like my mother said keep yourself till marriage because she kept herself till marriage, right? You got a lot of people that tell their kids stuff and it's like, no, that's not what you did. But my mother is not no hypocrite. And I appreciate my mom for that. So she has a right to be judgmental when it comes to certain things because my mom is about that life. You get what I'm saying? So people that are judgmental, but their life is worse than yours, you gotta look at that because it's their insecurities that's making them like that. Can't throw stones and your ass live in a glass house. And those are my thoughts.